Hi, I am Lucy Van Leeuwen. I'm a TRE provider and practitioner, and I want to share my journal with you so that it will, I hope, inspire you to also do your own journaling process because, yeah, it is has a lot of benefit to look back and see where you come from and what's changed because of the TRE, which in turn inspires you to continue your TRE process. So I wrote this as my journal from 2013, was during a training with David Vaselli in Austria. Sunday morning, 1:02 a.m. This is the fifth night, tomorrow day 6. I awoke with so much going on in my mind, I got up to write it down. On the second or third day of level 1, I went into strong contractions of the fascia, which ended with my arms crossed in freeze and my right side in a deep contraction that finally shook out. It felt great. It felt deep, and it felt insufficient. The hungry ghost. The hungry ghost is a term used in yoga to describe that part of us which is actually a bottomless pit that we often try to fill with books, with learning, which is my thing, or with relationships, with food addictions, alcohol, drugs, sex, you name it. That what we do to escape from what is really fulfilling, and that is the journey within, releasing the tension. So the hungry ghost, this is someone who is never satisfied. And I guess this can be seen as a reflection in our entire consumer-based society. Hungry ghosts all around, unfulfilled. I am here with two beautiful friends, my sisters. I love them both dearly. I see the processes that they are going through. Oh, by the way, my two sisters, with Nina Brouwer and Dan Timmers. I see the amazing way that they are able to articulate their needs and experiences. It makes me feel jealous and unfulfilled. And now the sneaky appearance of the hungry ghost, which I only just recognize now. Sunday morning at 1:02 a.m. This is a pattern, one of my blind spots. And these feelings, they are not of now, they are of my tissue. They are a story of my body's past experiences that I keep repeating in my adult life. The story of desperately needing to be seen and desperately frightened of being seen and thus keeping myself small. This conflict within creates more tension. Again, the story of my life. And I regard my life as being very blessed. Who, me? Traumas? Look at the rest of the world. That's trauma. And so I become tougher and tougher and smother that within me which feels so desperately small and fragile. That within me which is so vulnerable. And this conflict creates a tension inside, which only increases with the passing years. These unmet needs, they feed my hungry ghost. They feed my anger and frustration that I cannot release because I do not know how. I hear of people getting more flexible with TRE. What the fuck? I'm just getting stiffer. Because I was stuck in the big surface movements and then enter level 2. 2 more days of frustration and anger and the fear that I would go home with this volcano still smoking inside, ready to explode. The jealousy at all that is going on around me. All these people who can express their needs and dare to be seen and counted. 2 more days of deep stretches of the fascia, which is intense and frustratingly boring. It is never enough. So the conflict in the mind continues, but the body knows what it is doing. I always look with amazement at everybody around me, how they can see so much more than I do. The afternoon session of day 2 was a gift. My 2 sisters, my 2 best friends, they saw my need and insisted that I stay and deal with it. This is new to me. I never really saw it before, but every time I get anywhere close to this deepness of what I am storing inside, I back off, I make a joke, and I move on. And I never recognized the many and varied ways that I do that, but my girlfriends did. Community, real community. And they kept me where I needed to be to release more of my tissue memory. and I released a deep charge of tension, a conflict that I felt in my body for years, for so long, so much anger and frustration and sadness. I knew it was there, but I did not know how to access it. I needed this community to go deeper. And now I realize why I could not see what I perceived others seeing, because I kept things continuously safe and superficial. How can you experience anything other than what you know? I have experienced the enormous potential energy which I have been holding in conflict. I do not consider myself to be traumatized, even though it is said that Eskimos have many words for snow. There are many, many forms of trauma. I still see all the others in my life as the real sufferers. I was just a pain in the ass. I should just stop moaning and get on with it, which is really funny, because in retrospect, the fact is I didn't moan about what was really going on inside. I got somber about everything else. I got somber about the situations and the people around me. My stuckness prevented me from really, and I mean really, looking within and recognizing my hungry ghost. I never realized how jealous I was till this week. Jealousy from a past version of me when I was a little kid, stuck in my tissue. But no longer, or if it is still there, it is much less. You see, this community, this blessing of people around you who really listen, who ask the right questions, and who hold space for you. This is an unbelievably beautiful gift of releasing, rebalancing, and renewing through TRE. And that has filled a part of my hungry ghost. For once in my life, I can truly say without working on it, that I feel quite satisfied. So I do hope that this inspires you to carry on your process, and I know that we all in the TRE community hope that we may also be of assistance in holding space for you, and that you may experience the power of group work. All right.